listening to the wind of change.
You're listening to Basil and the Fish on AM 1410. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got a caller here on the line. Hello, caller. You're listening to Basil and the Fish.
Oh, hi, Basil. This is Corey.
Hi, Corey. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. You're live on the air. We're talking to Corey Umberson, the co-author of Pursuing Liberty. What is Pursuing Liberty? And who's your co-author? It's Rick Lindstrom, correct?
Yes. That's right. Yeah, we... well, first of all, Basil, thank you so much for having me on the air with you. I'm really,
you're welcome.
Really honored.
And by the way, the fish is here too.
Hello.
Yeah, so you really have to thank me as well, or I'll get my feelings hurt, and this interview then will immediately go downhill.
Okay, well, we can't have that. So thank you,
thank
Fish.
you.
Thank you.
We like to make our guests feel really comfortable. Did that work at all?
I am so comfy. I could almost be in an armchair.
Have you got a cup of tea going there? What are you doing?
You're wearing a snuggly.
Yes. So obviously, there was a prompt somewhere that spurred this book. What was the prompt?
Well, I live down in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is a pretty interesting place to live.
That would make me want liberty right there.
Yeah. Well, it's not as bad as you would think. I'm a regular listener to KSFO down in San Francisco, and now I will be a regular listener to your show too. So
we love her already.
Yeah, but no, seriously, I was on hold to talk to Brian Sussman, who wrote the foreword to our book. He's really been a supporter of this whole concept all the way along. He had his evening show at the time. He's now on in the mornings, but I was calling about a month before the election to talk about something political, and while I was on hold, one of his regular callers, who emigrated here from the USSR, was on the phone, and I heard his call when I was on hold, and he said, Obama has socialist policies. I don't know if he is a socialist, but everything that he's talked about so far, making it prohibitive for coal energy to be affordable to people, talking about people bitterly clinging to their guns and religion, and the things that would come in on more off-the-cuff, smaller groups, while at the same time, when he was at larger gatherings, he would speak more like a centrist, talking about, good national defense and lower taxes and responsible spending. And he said, look, I've heard the song before. This is why I left Russia. It always ends badly. Please don't do this.
Yes.
And he said, if the United States starts going more towards socialism than it already has, with some of the bigger spending and big government programs, he said, where do I go? I came to America because it was the last beacon of hope for the planet. And if America falls, where do I go? Where do we go? And that just made the lights go off in my head, and I said, boy, that would make a great book. So what we did is I started, getting in touch with people who I knew who had come to the United States from communist and repressive and, non-free countries, and just asked them their stories, what it was really like for them there, what was the impetus to make them leave their home countries, in some cases leaving everything behind, and
Absolutely.
come to this brand new place that, was the shining city on the hill. And I am happy to say that Basil was one of the first people that I talked to, and he told his story about leaving Iraq, and his story is one of the chapters in the book.
Yeah, he's in favor of when you leave Iraqi, you won't go back.
It really is. Your book is really almost like a before and after, for people. When they were living in their countries and how their experiences were, and then they decided that, I can find another solution to improve my life, improve my family's life, and then come to really what we call the promised land, the land of opportunity. I always thought America is like a supermarket with shelves and shelves and shelves of opportunities, and you just have to find the right opportunity, grab it, and run with it. Nothing comes easy, nothing comes free, but you got to work hard at it, but it's all there sitting waiting for you.
Exactly. And one thing that tied all the stories together, I mean, they're from 8 different countries. We actually had two stories from Cuba because there were 2 separate age ranges, and I thought that having a younger person and somebody who's a little bit older when the Cuban Revolution happened would be a good perspective. But we also have in the book a story from the former Soviet Union and communist Poland, Mussolini's Italy, Iraq, of course, Iran, Vietnam, and Venezuela. And most of the people used their real names. A few people used initials, and the young lady from Venezuela, we had to change everything with her. Everything was anonymized. Her brother is still living in Venezuela and is a Chavez supporter. And she said, if I ever wanted to visit him and be able to leave the country, I would like to be able to do that. And to hear an American citizen worrying about leaving a country is shocking, I think. But one thing that really does tie the stories together is the lack of opportunity of personal liberty and personal responsibility and the ability to do the things that we just take for granted. For instance, in communist countries such as Vietnam or the Soviet Union, you lived where you were told to live. In some cases, you were not able to have so much as a birthday party without getting a government permit, which meant bribes and waiting and worrying and anxiety. And, these are so basic things that we truly, truly take for granted here. And one of the things that we really wanted to show is how tyranny begins. Everybody knows how it ends. It always ends badly, no matter how good the intentions seem to be, but it's very subtle and very insidious at the beginning. And that, I think, is something that's very valuable, not only for adults, but also for students. They don't get this kind of in-depth education, certainly in the public schools, and I'm not sure about private schools, but it's first person, and it's very powerful.
In Iraq, and just like you said, the ideas always start with good intentions, and then they
go downhill from
there.
They
take a life of its own. I mean, the Ba'ath Party that was in charge, and Saddam was in charge, and all that. Their message was one united Arabic nation, freedom, liberty for all. And it sounds so good on paper, but we never we never saw the united of the countries. We never saw the united of the political parties. We never saw the liberty. We never saw the freedom. We never saw any of that stuff.
We never saw hope and change.
Never. Hope is on the way. So we were told that's what we're getting, but we never got it. And in America, I think there is hope. There is real hope. Of course, no system is perfect. But you were saying, so you started writing the book, I think you said 15 years in the making, or?
Oh, no, since October of 2008.
Okay.
And I was waiting until, I sort of had it in my mind,
okay,
and I wanted to wait to see what would happen with the election.
Sure.
And I really had just this pit in my stomach, not because of race, not even because of party, but because of ideology. And I thought, okay, I'll give them a chance. I'll wait until the inauguration. I'll see what happens after that. I'll give them a week. I'll be fair. And this is coming from somebody. I used to be a Democrat for many, many years.
We'll forgive you for that.
Thank you. Well, it was back in the day, but
Ronald Reagan made that statement. They asked him if he ever made a mistake, and he said yes, I was a Democrat for a while.
I know.
I love that. It's like, but and I really, I don't know, Corey, I don't know if you see it this way, but I was earlier on the Fish's rant. I see them ratcheting up the emotions of the American people.
Yes.
Left, right, race, the immigration. All these things that are not easily resolvable, but they seem to take us in a direction of emotionally